How many of you all have attended last week's session, and how many of you are attending for the first time? If you can quickly tell me in the chat box. Yeah, you have to type in the Q&A session. Hi Aditi, hi Kanishka, hi. Okay, Aditi is saying that she's attended last session. Hi Sagar, great. So a lot of you all have attended the previous session. First time, okay. Second session, okay. 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 Fine. So we had a session last week also. That also was a live session. And today we are having a second session. Right. So last week we spoke about stress and your strategy. But now today we are going to specifically talk about what is to be done in the next 10 days and how you can ensure that you are making maximum use of this time. Right. Okay. So those of you who are attending for the first time, whatever questions you have, that you'll have to type in Q&A, right? And in the very end, I keep it for questions. So whatever doubts, whatever questions you all have, you all can ask me in the end, and I'll try to answer all of them, right? Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay. So let's start with today's session then. I'll just start sharing my screen, because now time is very precious, so I don't want you all to be late, so that you all can get back to studies also as early as possible. Yes, hello everyone. Hello Pania, Diva, Kiran. Lovely. So okay, so last week's session you can see on YouTube. It's uploaded by CA Test Series. You all can have a look at it. Yeah. Okay. And a lot of you have attended my previous sessions, so I'm so glad. So a lot of you all are familiar. Great. Okay. So I'll just share my screen. Okay. Yes. So all of you all, are you all able to see me? Are you all able to see the screen also, the presentation also? Okay. 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 Lovely. Lovely. Okay. So let's start then. Okay. Okay. So first and foremost, what we are going to talk about today, what you need to do in the coming 10 days. How do you compile your last 3 to 4 months efforts? Mistakes you really need to avoid in these last 10 days. How to work on eliminating your distractions, and how do I stay motivated in this period, and very, very important final reminders which are very crucial to help you really study well and not get stressed out or panic, right? So let's start with today's session then. Right now, for the balance 10 days, what is the strategy I need to apply, right? So for the last 2 to 3 days, you can keep it exclusively for revision of the first paper, right? And at that time, you can deep dive into key topics, practice questions, and review those important concepts. Now, these balance days that you have, right, the balance 7 days, you need to divide the remaining days based on your number of subjects. So if you're giving one group or two groups, depending on that, you have to divide your number of days, and also depending on the subject which you feel more confident or less confident, right? So the one which you're more confident, you could give it lesser time. And for the ones you're very confident, right? Sorry, for the ones you're very confident, you can give it lesser time. For ones you feel very like you feel I'm not at all still confident, you give it more time, right? Now, one thing you all need to ensure, like for all these subjects, you have your 1.5 day strategy set. So what I mean by 1.5 day strategy, that what exactly you're going to cover in those last days when your exam days are there, right? So once you come back from the paper in the evening, what you have to do, the next whole day, what is to be done, and the morning, that is the time you get to the next paper, right? So that is very, very important, that now when you in these, if you have not yet prepared that strategy, it is very important that that strategy is prepared at this time, right? And also, if not, you all have not given a mock by this time, it is very, very important at least one set of mock is written before exams. And also, how is it that I'm going to cover my portion in these days is very important. So as I told you all, this 1.5 days exam strategy for all your subjects has to be ready. Otherwise, what happens is we've been studying for so many months, right? But if we have not planned these exam days, we don't know how to go about with the portion, right? And then that time you tend to get very nervous, or you don't know what to do, you blank out. So very important is that you ensure that you have planned these days, and this is very important that you do it now only, right? I'm getting a lot of questions, so please keep it for the very end. I'm surely going to answer all your questions. Yeah, anything specific to what I'm saying, you can ask me. Right. So Ayush, you're asking whether now, yeah, it is for the September attempt, like exams in the next 10 days. So this session will focus more on that, right? Okay, fine. Okay. Now, see, the thing is, we have been studying throughout for so many days, right? Now, what is important is for so many months, now, what do I exactly do in these 10 days, right? So, for all the subjects, it is very important that you review all the key concepts. See, at this stage, it is not possible that you go through in detail every line, every question, right? What is important is by now your markings are ready, and you trust yourself that whatever you have marked and whatever is marked as very important, you will be going through that, and rest of it you will remember. So that much trust you need to have in yourself, right? You cannot have an extensive detailed revision for all the subjects. You need to only do the important things now, right? Second, you organize your notes. So what I mean by organize your notes for your exams, as I told you, this strategy and what notes you have to cover in those 1.5 days, the markings have to be ready by now, right? If you've not done that, this is the right time. Do it now, because if you don't do it now, exam time, it's impossible to cover entire portion in 1.5 days. So very important, you need to have your marking set, right? What is very important and which you have to see on the exam days is very important, that the marking is ready. So prepare your notes, prepare your markings at this stage, if not already done. Next is the mock test that you have given, right? The mock test, past papers, whatever mistakes you have made in your mocks, please ensure that you have learned from it, and you know that this is my weak area, and you're focusing on that, right? So as I told you, the last 3 days you can keep it for your first paper. Rest of the days you divide it on your, depending on what is your weakness, and analyzing your mock test and seeing where you've gone wrong so that you can work on that. Right. So strategic revision, prioritize weaker areas, but don't neglect your strengths, right? Strengths is something which will help you score more marks, will help you get exemption. So you need to obviously at least cover the main topics of your of the subjects which are your strength, at the same time working on your weakness. Very important, please do not change your study strategy now. Whatever you've been doing till now, please continue. Don't listen to your peers, don't listen to your friends, and if they're doing something different, now there's no point changing. Whatever you have been doing till now, no new stuff, right? Whatever you've done till now, only revising that, nothing new at this stage, right? This phase is only for revision, nothing else. Okay, next. Just 1 second. Okay. So as I told you all, mistakes that you really need to avoid in the next 10 days is overloading with new material. So now at this point, it is only for revising rather than learning new concepts. So something which you have not done, some chapter, if you feel that, I have not done it or I'm not thorough, just leave it at now. Whatever you've done, ensure that you have done it really well, right? Just focus on revising and not on overloading with new material, right? This time is just for revision. That also, whatever is marked very important, and you have to trust yourself that rest of it you will be able to manage, right? Second very important thing is neglecting sleep, be it now for the next 10 days or during your exam days. Sleep is a very, very crucial factor, right? Only when you give your body and mind rest, that is the time your next day is more productive. So I request all of you, even during your exam days, please don't compromise on your sleep. Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, right? Because if your mind is not well rested, you will not be able to think that fast, and not remember all that you've been doing for so many months, and you will not be able to reproduce in the exams, right? So very, very important that you ensure that you're getting good amount of sleep. Another important thing is skipping breaks. So in our previous session also I told you all, like to ensure that you're able to study for longer hours, what you can do is you can divide your study sessions in shorter slots. So you can divide it in 45 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes short slots. Take a short break, then again study for 40 to 45 minutes, right? So you cannot not take breaks, right? Because that will help you be productive throughout the day. So short breaks are essential to maintain productivity. Another quick tip I can tell you is, as I've told you, in these short breaks, you don't do anything that engages your mind. So no social media, YouTube and all. Anything that simply relaxes your mind, listening to music, talking to family members, such things can be done, right? But nothing that engages your mind in these breaks. So study for 45 minutes, take a short break, again study for 45 minutes, right? So with shorter breaks, what will happen is the fact that we tend to get very worked out or very tired during this period, that will not happen. Next, last minute panic is a very, very common thing. So stay composed and avoid the temptation to overload yourself with new information. So as I told you all, no change of strategy. Whatever you have done, stick to your strengths, revising the weakness, but no change. Don't get into that somebody is telling you that this is very, very important, but now at this point of time I have just ignored that topic. No, what you have done, just stick to that and do it well. Yes. Very, very important. So yesterday only one of my students was telling me that one of her friends has completed the portion, has given all the mocks, but you need to understand something. Everybody's understanding capacity is very, very different, right? So there is no point comparing yourself to others. What others may take 3 to 4 times to revise, right, and to understand and grasp, maybe you've done it in the second time only. So please don't compare yourself with others. Instead, focus on having the right strategy for these next 10 days and ensuring that you are putting in your best efforts and making each and every day count. These 10 days and your exam days, they are the game changer for you, right? Okay. Very important, trusting yourself. See, you have worked hard for all this time. What is very, very crucial at this stage is that you trust your preparation and you believe that you have put in your best efforts, right? And obviously making all these days count and giving your best during exams. Now, how do I eliminate distractions? There'll be Ganpati coming up. There are so many festivities going on. How do I ensure that I am very, very focused, right? First, whenever you're studying, you ensure that your study space is quiet, organized, and free of distractions. So, please ensure that wherever you're studying, it is decluttered, right? It is nice and bright and well ventilated. That is also very, very important. That will help you ensure that you're studying better, right? Next is noise cancellation techniques. So if there is a lot of noise around you, you can use your earplugs. There are many white noise apps, right? So that one white noise which goes on, because that it is at the same pace and the same speed, it helps you study better. So there are many apps which will help you do that, right? So you can use those apps to ensure that all the other distractions are cancelled. Or calming music, you can just keep some instrumental music, nothing with lyrics, right? Instrumental music is also something which helps you work better and reduce your distractions if there are a lot of distractions around you. Okay, set clear boundaries. So at this point of time, it is very, very important to tell your relatives, your friends, that this time is only study time. I know, your parents and your relatives are somebody who are going to cooperate with you, but you need to set your boundaries that this time I am not going to be available because these days are very, very crucial. So it is very important that, those, some of you might be having house responsibilities also, making it very, very clear that this time is something which you need for yourself, and you need to inform others to avoid miscommunication and misunderstanding. So always let them know that this time, these 10 days and the study time, I am going to be very occupied and will be focusing completely. And whatever support you need from them, please let them know about it. I'm sure they'll be very happy to help you out, right? Digital detox, right? Limit your social media and unnecessary screen time. You have so many apps which help you, just block all those unnecessary things. So what I can tell you is, all these influencers, all the people who are putting videos on YouTube, Instagram, they are earning crores out of this, right? But at this time, what is very important is you are not wasting your time. Even after exams, there'll be more videos, there'll be more web series, but this time is not coming back, right? These 10 days and your exam times are not coming back. So very, very important that you make maximum use of it, right? Okay. Okay. Now, how do I stay motivated in this period, right? So first, connecting with your vision. So if you have never thought why you're doing CA, you can just give it a thought that why are you doing it, right? Because when you know the why, you know the purpose of, see, all of you all want to become CAs, you all want to clear this exam, but everybody will have a very, very unique reason of why they want to become, right? Connect with that reason, and you visualize your future success. Imagine how, how achieving your goals will feel, and what exactly will it mean for your career, for your life, and for the people who really, really matter to you. So anytime you feel that, no, I'm not able to study, or I feel like giving up, think of why you got into this. And once you actually clear how is it going to enrich your life of people who really matter to you, or the things that really matter to you, connect with your vision, with your future success. So think of the things that you are going to gain after this tiresome process, right? Okay. Next, break it down. So very, very important is you set mini goals for each study session, right? And celebrating small victories to maintain momentum and stay motivated. See, at this point of time, it is very, very important that you are very clear that how exactly I am going to go about with my next 10 days of preparation, plus how exactly am I going to plan my exam days. This strategy and this planning is something which has to be very, very clear at this point of time, right? And every day when you achieve that target, first you write it down, right? What is it that you have done really well? You could write it as a daily win. So you're feeding your mind with that information, yes, that I'm working towards that goal. And every time, you're achieving that goal, like at the end of the day, if you really like a Cadbury, for example, you can treat yourself. So, making yourself happy and, being proud of your small achievements. That is a, when you feed your mind with this information that, yes, I'm doing good, I'm improving, I'm putting in my best efforts, or, this particular chapter or this particular subject I've revised really well, right? When you're celebrating that milestone by writing and maybe treating yourself with a small chocolate, your mind is getting that information that, yes, I'm working better and better towards my goal, right? So always break down your goals, and when you're achieving something, write it down so that you're giving your mind that information also, right? Next is positive reinforcements. So last time we spoke about how affirmations are really, really powerful, how visualization is very powerful. A lot of you were not there last time, so I'll just do a quick recap. You can have your set of affirmations, right? You can just say that I'm prepared, or anything that is very, very close to you, whatever you want to say for yourself, right? That I'm prepared, I'm going to score really well, or I'm going to become a CA in this attempt, right? Sorry, I'm going to become a final CA student in this attempt. Whatever is your affirmation for yourself, right? What you can do is, when you feel that things are not working out, you can simply close your eyes, you can, take a few deep breaths, and then you can do the back counting technique. So what is back counting technique? Gradually and slowly counting from 20 to 1, very, very slowly. And whatever affirmations you want to make for yourself, maybe that I'm studying really well, I'm very well prepared, I'm confident about my exams, or I'm going to write my exams really well, right? Whatever you want to tell yourself, after back counting, when you tell yourself, it gets into your subconscious mind. So you can try this out. Affirmations are very, very powerful because you tend to feed yourself with that information, with the right kind of information. Once you're done with the affirmations, you can, just may take some deep breaths and open your eyes, right? So they also help you stay motivated in this entire process. And, finding your anchor. So you could have any one quote which you really, really resonate with, or you really feel that this is something which really means a lot to me, and you can use it as a personal mantra or an anchor to help you boost your performance, right? So the future depends on what you do today. So it is very, very important that you make all these days count, right? Each and every day, if you make it count and you write the best exams, that is the time, so instead of worrying and thinking about what will happen in the future, whether I'll pass or not, don't focus on that. Instead, your focus should be every day you're making maximum use of it, and you are writing the best papers that you can. So on the last day of the paper, you have to be satisfied that yes, I put in my best efforts, right? Also, I want to give you one technique. Anytime when you feel very anxious or nervous, you can do that. You can also do this technique when you are at the exam center, right? Usually what happens is people just go at the very end, study till the very end, and just give their exams, right? But what is very important, that you have settled down, you are calm and composed, and then you write your paper. So first thing is, you reach the exam center well before time. Second, please stop studying once you leave your house, right? And after that, you reach the exam center before time, and you just then calm yourself down. Now, how a very, very good technique is the spinal breathing technique. It is a technique, however anxious you're feeling, it will help you reduce your anxiety levels. Second, nowadays, if you are someone who's not getting sleep at night because of being over anxious or over nervous, right, this technique will really help you, right? So one of my students, I had given him this technique, and for his inter tax exam, what happened was he completely blanked out. Then he just remembered this technique and he did it in the exam hall, and then he was able to calm himself down, and he scored a 57, right? So it's a very, very powerful technique which you can use at the exam center anytime during these days when you're feeling very anxious. Third, if you are not getting sleep at night, this technique is something which will help you out, right? Okay, so spinal breathing technique, how it is to be done. What I can do is I will instruct you all. You all can do it with me. Yes, can you all do it along with me as I instruct you all? Can anybody quickly give me responses? Can you all do it with me as I give you all the instructions? Okay, Aditi is saying yes. I hope others also. Okay. Yes, I'm getting a lot of yes. Okay, Meg, Avni, Madhuri. Okay. So what I want you to do is, first, just simply close your eyes. Okay, I hope all of you all have closed your eyes. Now take 5 to 6 deep breaths at first. Deep breath is inhale deeply and exhale deeply, right? So first deep breath, second deep breath, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Now just pay complete attention to your breath. Just try being there, right? Just focus on your breath. Just be there. Okay. Now what you do is, you have to imagine that you are inhaling, and the breath is going from the beginning of your spine. Your spine begins somewhere below, at the end of the neck, and it goes all the way down to where you're sitting, right? So when you inhale, focus on the breath. Feel like you're going inside with it along with the spine, right? Just feel like this breath is taking the path of your spine like a hollow pipe to reach your belly. First, you let it imagine it's reaching till your belly, then it is reaching till the base of your spine. Now, again, it's imagination. Imagine now you're exhaling, maintaining the same focus, right? And it is going from the end of the spine to the beginning of the spine, right? So this was one cycle. You can do 2 more cycles. I will wait for 2 minutes, right? And tell me how you feel after this. Okay. So now this is a cycle which you have to do 10 to 15 times to feel the anxiety level going down. So it is a very powerful technique to help you reduce your anxiety level. So it takes you just 5 minutes, but it will help you feel much more calm and composed. And please do it in the exam hall, because when your heartbeat is normal and you are breathing also normally, when your breath is absolutely normal, you will be able to remember things in a much better way. When you are very anxious, that time, even if you know things, what will happen is you will not be able to write, because when your mind is clouded with emotions, when your brain is clouded with all the emotions, negativity, anxiety, worry, even if you know things, what happens is you tend to blank out, or you tend to not remember things. So very important is, once you reach the exam center, you give yourself some time, you relax yourself, and then only you begin writing the paper, right? Okay. And as I told you all, I'm just repeating, those of you all who have not written even one mock by now, please write it at least once, because you need to know how you use your 15 minutes of reading time and how you are, allocating your time, the 3 hours, right? And also your 1.5 day strategy should be ready by now. How exactly are you going to go about with each paper? Okay. Okay, now some things which are very, very important that you have to remember is, one, that you are sleeping very well, 7 to 8 hours, even during exam time. So see, if you sleep 3 to 4 hours first day, for the next paper, you will be able to do that, but you will not be able to stretch yourself for the next 16 days, right? So getting good sleep is very, very important. Eating good, healthy food is something very important. A lot of students are falling sick. Please take care of your diet, right? Third, mindfulness and exercises. So simple exercises. Last time I told you all, simple breathing technique like box breathing, right? Inhaling for 4 counts, holding on for 4, exhaling for 4, and waiting for 4 counts again before inhaling. This is also one thing which will help you, change your mood, change your negative mood into positive, right? So this is also one simple technique. So simple techniques can be followed. Next is exercise every day, at least 15 minutes, doing some form of physical activity, because it releases those hormones which help you be in a good state of mind, right? Which naturally help you be positive. Next is staying calm. So very important. The more calm and composed you are, the better, right? So last week we had an entire session on various techniques which will help you be in a better state of mind, calm and composed. Please go through it, right? We have gone through all the things that can help you be less stressed out. I know stress level can never be zero, but we can always manage stress. So I've told you all in the last session. Trusting yourself and your preparation, right? Very important at this stage. The only thing that matters is you believing and trusting yourself, nothing more, right? Very, very important that you have now, whatever you have done, you believe that you have done it well, working for these 10 days, putting in your best efforts and trusting yourself. Because now if you do, you go the other way, if you flip around, this entire 3 months will be that 3 months or 5 months that you put all the hard work, that will go for a toss. So very important now at this stage, trust yourself. Whatever you have done, focus on that. No new things. working on your weakness, and at the same time focusing on your strengths, having the markings ready, and ensuring your exam day strategy is set so that you are not worried or tense during your exam days, right? So now it's the time, you have to trust yourself, and all the very, very best for your preparation. See, today I didn't give you a lot of tips or a lot of things because I thought instead, whatever is really, really crucial at this point, I should tell you, and I should be able to answer maximum questions. You all have asked me a lot of questions in this meantime, right? So, okay, Amit is saying that he's feeling better. I'm so glad. I'm so happy that this helped him, right? So, okay, so let's start with all the questions. There are too many lined up. You all can start typing your questions now. Okay, so Parth is saying that he has also blanked out in the exam hall. So yes, this technique which I told you, spinal breathing technique, will really, really help you at this stage. Aditya is saying that he's not keeping well. He's got fever. So very, very important. As I told you all, please take care of your health, right? So at this stage, don't eat outside food. Please go to the doctor, Aditya, and get your medicines as early as possible, right? To make maximum use of this time, right? Okay. Arnav is asking, can you also add for 20-day strategy? I have audit and FMSM, right? So the next, see, if you have only two papers, right, audit and FMSM, so what you can do is, because you have more time, you can finish one more revision. Maybe you give 5 days to each paper and write 100 marks paper at the end of the revision, right? Also, you be sure that you have your 1.5 day strategy also set, right? So these things you can do. So Arnav, what you can do is try, if you have ample time and you've finished with your concepts, do more revisions and write more papers. The more papers you write, it will help you work on your weak areas, understand where is it that you still are falling short, because you still have a lot of time to work on it, right? So finish one revision, write the paper, right? The more revisions you do, the better, and paper writing. Okay. Vishaka is saying, I'm not able to take a mock test with confidently, feel more. I have to feel that she feels that she has to finish more portion before the test. So Vishaka, let me tell you one thing. Even if there was the attempt was in after 6 months, you will never feel confident because CA exams are that way. But till the time you write a mock, you will never know where is it that you stand, right, Vishaka? So very important that you write a mock, because then only you will know if there are any still weak areas. Maybe you still lack at some concepts, right? So this, you need to write it now. We are at least one set of mocks before exams is very, very crucial. Okay, Fahia is asking, is it possible to get good score if I have 4 months to study for my Jan 25 exam? Absolutely. You can score really, really well because you have ample time for your conceptual understanding, revisions, and writing mock tests. So yes, you can score really well. Okay, Deva is asking, is home study better or in a hostel? I can't focus fully at home, but there's no good food in the hostel. See, Deva, what I will recommend is, at this stage, please don't try to make any changes, right? If food is not good in the hostel, please continue studying at home, because you're getting good homemade food. And as I told you, communicate. If you have a lot of things that are disturbing you, talk to your family members, tell them that you need this time, right? But I will suggest that at this point of time, don't change your settings. Don't, because you're used to studying in a particular environment. At this stage, this session, at this stage, please don't change your environment. Please study at home, and whatever is distracting you, please try to understand what are the issues and try to sort them out, right? Okay, Kanishka is saying that I'm feeling so productive and motivated after your first session. Thank you so much, Kanishka. Aryan is saying that Deva can join a library nearby, but I will still recommend that at this stage, when you have got used to a study environment and all, it would be better that you stick to that. No, because when you are very close to exams, you should not make many changes. Instead, if you can study at better, try to understand what you can do to study better at home, right? We skip a subject. Okay, Sanya is asking, how do I present audit answers? So last session that we had, that was on presentation also. Please go through it. You will find it on YouTube. Okay, Park is asking, what is the solution for silly mistakes done in practical papers and restrict good marks? See, silly mistakes, one reason can be that you're overconfident, right? So, and second reason is when you are not completely focused, right? When you are at the exam center and you're very, and like, you know, your emotions are not regulated, right? So that time you tend to make silly mistakes. So what I would tell you is, before you sit for the exam, ensure that your mind and your thoughts are centered. So again, I'll tell you, reach the exam center before, calm yourself down, right? When you are very hyper, that is the time you make maximum mistakes, right? So first, you ensure that you are very, very centered. You can do breathing exercises to calm yourself down, and then only you start studying. So start writing the paper. So very important, please reach at least 15 to 20 minutes before the exam time, right? Okay. Rishi is saying that he's not able to be consistent with studies. Some days are very productive, but some don't. See, Rishi, now each and every day counts. You have to remember one thing, that this time, these 10 days and your exam days are not going to come back. So very important that you make maximum use of it. Whatever is the cause of distraction, be it social media, relationship, whatever it is, that is going to be there. But this precious time is not coming back, right? So very important that you make maximum use of this time, right? So what I would recommend is, please have a strategy, right? If you have a goal for each day, what happens is usually we tend to spend mornings or the beginning of the day in procrastination. So instead of that, set a proper strategy for these 10 days before exam, right? And then you will have a goal every day, which will help you be more and more consistent. Vanshika is asking, will you continue taking these sessions for CA final students? Yes, we would be having it before exams. When we are close to CA exams also, we'll be having the sessions. Technical CMA technical questions I'm not answering at this point. You can directly ask CA test series. Okay. Anushka is saying that I've been studying productively, but since last few days, because of panic, I could not study this last 1 week. How should I deal with this? So, Anushka, in the previous session, I have given a lot of techniques to help you calm yourself down. At this point of time, what I can tell you is, one very important good thing that you can do is writing, journaling. So when you feel very negative, or you are very, very anxious, you can just jot down and write down whatever you're feeling. The most negative emotions also, if you write down, you will see after some time you tend to cool down, right? So that is one way to work on your anxiety. Second, you have so many breathing exercises. That is also something you can do, right? So you need, and see, everybody feels anxious and nervous, but what is important is you know how to deal with it. So writing down is something which will help you a lot. And you can also, second, this spinal breathing, which I just told you, it's a very, very powerful exercise. You do it for 10 to 15 minutes. You can do 8-10 circles. If you're very anxious, you will see that there will be reduction in the anxiety level. Kanak is saying there's always a doubtfulness in the mind after answering every question. So Kanak, if that is the case at this stage, which if you are very, very good with the concepts, what I can tell you is you can try solving different type of questions that will help you gain confidence. So try and try solving different questions, right, without seeing the solution, and then you can see the solution, or you can try to attempt more mocks, because the more mock tests you give, the more the confidence level builds up, because you know that you are able to attempt in those 3 hours. So that will give you a lot of confidence. Aditya is saying how to retain something when forgotten any topic during revision. See, Aditya, it is very normal that, if you've done something 10 days before, when you do it now, you will not be able to remember 100%. But even if you can remember the concept, it will be good. That's why revisions are important. So if your conceptual understanding is good, the concepts you will be able to remember. And some things which you have to know, like section numbers, or like some case laws you have to quote. What at this stage I can tell you is, you can just make a list of it, and every day, maybe 10, 15 minutes, just go through the list. You don't need to spend separate time just going through the list once a day, maybe in the morning and at night before sleeping. That will help you retain things better. Payal is asking, ma'am, in each subject, 2 mock papers is enough or not? So, Payal, at this stage, if you've written 2 mocks, it's good enough, right? What I can just tell you is, whatever mistakes you have made in your mock, please analyze those mistakes and try to understand that where is it that I fall, where is it that I've made mistakes. Because mocks will help you analyze what are your weak areas, and you still have time to understand that and work on that, right? Aryan is asking, my syllabus is not complete. Should I give the mock? See, as I told you, Aryan, at this point of time, whatever you have done, that is enough. Now you have to just focus on revision and paper writing, right? So at this stage, please focus on writing mocks and don't do anything new now. So what you've done, simply revise that, nothing new, right? How many times per day revision of 3 subjects? See, if you are somebody who just has one group to give, then you can divide these days equally, right? So maybe you have the first 3 days for the first paper, and the balance days you can divide equally, right? And if you have not written a mock test by now, please write a mock for each of these, right? So that you know how you have to use the exam time also. How do you use those 3 hours, right? How many hours should we study in the last 10 days? See, Payal, what I can tell you, we all have 24 hours in a day. Even if you're sleeping for 8 hours, you get 16 hours, right? So at least 10 to 12 hours is something which is manageable, right? So 10 to 12 hours, something you can try and easily do it, because very important, you're giving yourself those 8 hours of sleep. You're giving some time for recreation. Still, you can manage 10 to 12 hours. Okay, Anushka is saying, I feel like I've learned the points of audit, but there is always doubt that if I will understand the question or not. Like, from which part are they asking the particular question? See, Anushka, if your concept is clear, what you can do at this stage is audit. You can try and solve different questions, try and go through various case studies, so that will give you confidence, right? When you feel my concepts are very strong, then you can then focus on maybe going through past papers, mock tests. So going through different questions to ensure that I am getting my confidence. Yes, Pavan is asking, can we write mock test without completing further more chapter? Yes, if your exam is in 10 days, please write a mock now, so that you know at least what you have done, whether you know it well, right? And now you just revise what you have done. If maybe if you're left with 2 to 3 chapters in each subject, leave it, right? Okay. Aryan is saying that even if I sit for 8 hours, I feel like he's wasting 4 hours. So what I can say, Aryan, is if that is the case, please divide your study session in shorter slots, right? The more you have those powerful 45 minutes, taking a break, again studying for 45 minutes, the more productive you will be. Ma'am, how can we enhance marks for MCQs? So MCQs we have covered in the last session. You can have a look at it part. We have discussed how to how to go about also with the MCQs. At this stage, what I can tell you is daily practice of MCQs you can keep doing for the next 10 days, whichever subject you're doing. Spending some time to attempt different type of MCQs will really help you. Anushka is saying, how can I plan the remaining 5 to 6 days for both group attempt? As after 5 days, I'll start final revision of accounts. Should I keep giving mocks only? So Anushka, that is a very, very personal thing, right? So it depends on, where you are. If you feel that I have given mocks, I have analyzed my weak areas. So maybe one day per subject, you can just focus on your weak areas. If you want to give the last 5-6 days for the first subject, right? So last 5 days you can give for accounts. Rest of the days, one day, you can give for each subject and revising whatever are the very important topics and also your area of weakness, right? So if you've given a mock, you don't give it now. You just simply revise what you've analyzed, like what is my weak area and what the concepts which are very crucial that I have to go through at this stage. Aditya is asking how many hours a day we take for revision and this time how to manage mocks and revisions, right? So what I can say is, now what you can do is, depending, Aditya, how many exactly papers you have, it depends on that. Otherwise, one day you can revise, the next day you can just give a mock in the 2 to 5 slot, so that you know that how to utilize my 1.5 days also, right? How do I go about with my portion? That is one thing you can do, right? Ayush is saying that he's revised audit but does not remember the points. So Ayush, if you are someone who has who feels audit is a weakness, what you can do is every day, whichever subject you're revising, along with that, you can give one hour to audit every day, right? So that you keep revising till the time your exams come. Obviously, last 2-3 days for your first paper, you give it exclusively, but balance 7 days along with the subjects you are revising, you can also keep revising audit. Okay. I have not completed my accounts, and as okay, Saloni is saying that she has not completed accounts and also she's not given a mock. See, Saloni, if you have finished around 80% portion, right, I can say you can stop now and give your mocks, and whatever 20% you cannot do it now because you're very close to exams. Instead of that, the 80% that you've done, revise it so that at least you score well when those questions from those 80% come, right? Uh, Lakshya is asking for some memorization techniques. So some quick techniques that I can give you is, you can read out loudly, especially for theory. Second thing is, the more you write, the better you remember because it is muscle memory. So practical, at least try to solve one question of each type. Theory, maybe you write down at least the main points, right? Third thing is, another very good technique at this stage to understand your weaknesses. You can imagine that you're teaching someone. When you go to teach someone, right, what happens is you tend to cover that concept in detail. You think of all the questions that can be asked. Third is, you also understand where is it that I am getting stuck. So it helps you understand your weakness also, right? And when you do it in this way, you tend to remember very well. So things which you're finding very difficult to remember, or something which is very boring, you can try the teach technique also. It will help you make your studies also interesting. So if a particular chapter is very important, but you're not just able to do it, you find it extremely boring, you can try to teach yourself, right? Arish is asking for CA final November strategy. So Arish, at this stage, first and foremost, you finish with all the conceptual understanding for all the subjects. Once you're done with that, you move on to revision. And with revision, after every revision, you write at least one set of papers, right? And minimum 2 to 3 revisions and paper writing is very important. Okay, next question. How to study theory subject like law audit in last 1.5 days. So that is what Jayashree I'm trying to tell you is, it is very important that you have a strategy. See, at this stage, in those 1.5 days, nobody can cover the whole portion. So it is very important you have your markings in place, that this is what I have to see, this is what I need to glance through, right? So if you have not made your notes, that's okay. At least highlight the main points so that you at least go through the main points, right? Because you cannot cover everything. So your markings are very crucial at this stage. She's saying, thank you so much, ma'am, for conducting such a productive session. Always welcome. Will you take such session in upcoming days for September students? I'll let you know. I'm because your exams are really close. I don't know if you all will be able have the time to attend another session, but we'll surely intimate you if there is one. Right? What should we opt for? We should solve MCQ first or descriptive. So, last session, Saloni, I covered this. So first, I will recommend that you finish off your MCQs first, right? Whatever the ones which you know very well, you first solve them. Others, because there are no negative markings, you can attempt because you will not have any negative markings. So you can solve all of them. So first, you finish your MCQs, then you go to the descriptive, and always in exams, whatever you know, what you know really well, you should first finish up that, and what you don't know, right? Any question you don't know, you keep it for the last, right? So your strategy for all exams should be MCQ first, next come all the questions which you're very sure of, and in the end, you leave for what you don't know, right? And try to answer if time permits, please try to answer full 100 marks paper. Asta, I'm sorry, I forgot, missed your question. Can you retype it? Asta and Pratik Sinha. I think I missed your question in the number of questions, right? Bhavesh is asking that due to health issues of my dad and other reasons, I have not appeared for 5 unit tests. Now I'm thinking I don't have much time. Can I start preparing for full syllabus test? Please give advice. Yes, Bhavesh. At this stage, as I told you, whatever you have done, please revise that and give a full syllabus test because your exam is 10 days away. I will not recommend you doing any new portion. So instead, what you've done, do it well, right? And give your 100 marks question. 100 marks full paper, right? What do we do when a tricky question comes is what Ayush is asking. So that is what I told you, those 15 minutes that you have, you need to ensure that you're using them then. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So the 15 minutes reading time that you get, you need to first ensure you're using it well. You know how you have strategized, right? So first you attempt the MCQs and the questions which you are very, very sure of. And then only you attempt the difficult or the tricky ones. So that at least, my first 50-55 marks are done. Then I'll attempt the rest, right? Like I'm sure of scoring this 50. Even if it's a difficult paper, I'm sure at least I'll get a 50, right? Abhinay is asking, this is the first time I'm attending this session. This is my second attempt. I do well while I read and attempt papers, but when I attempt the main exam, I get stuck. I don't fear, but I'm unable to clear. Okay. So Abhinay, what I feel is, if you are doing well in mocks, but exam time you tend to mess up, that could only be because you get very anxious and nervous. So again, I'm repeating, if that is the thing, teach the exam hall before, calm yourself down. These breathing techniques, they do wonders to calm yourself down. Today, I gave you the spinal breathing technique. Use it. You will see that it will help you reduce your anxiety, right? And when you know things and still you're making mistakes, that is when, your mind is clogged with emotions and your brain is not able to think. So that point of time, first you need to ensure that you are very mindful and you're coming back to the present moment. And all these breathing exercises, you could do a simple deep breathing, you could do the spinal breathing. It will help you relax yourself, right? So at least 20 minutes or half an hour before your exam time, please reach there, be comfortable with the surroundings, and then do these breathing exercises, and then you will be able to give your exam in a much better way, right? So next question is that how many days before accounts I should be able, like 12th September's accounts paper, how many days before I should be starting accounts? So you can start 2 to 3 days before, right? 3 days should be fine, right? So you can start 3 days before. Ma'am, how I can focus my time when I'm going to employment? I'm going to attempt in Jan. Okay. So if it's your Jan attempt, the key here is that consistency is very important if you're working, to ensure that the mornings and the evenings you're using them really well, and weekends you're making maximum use of the time. So what will happen is, if you're doing that, the time that you before your study leave, at least you're done with all the concepts, then you're just focusing on revisions and paper writing, right? So the key here is consistency. Yeah. Next question, I'm giving group 2 only, but I think I can score 60 in accounts, but the syllabus of accounts only 75 clear without revision. So Abhay, if you have finished 75% only, then revise that 75%. Don't do the 25 now. It is too less time to do something new. Instead, ensure that 75% that you've done, you know it really well. Okay, next question is, a bad mock of FM lowered my confidence. How should I build the confidence? Anushka is asking. See, Anushka, mock was something which you have to take it as a learning experience, right? If you take it as something which is something which through which you lose your confidence, then the whole purpose of mock is gone, right? Just to understand what is my weakness, and you've not yet still given your exam. You still have 10 days. Now you know that this is my weak area. Maybe the concept is not strong, or you're lacking speed. What is it? Which area is you're not very good at? Use it as a understanding of weakness. So use the mock to take it as it is something which will help you understand what is your weakness and try to change your mindset, right? So now FM, wherever you've not scored, maybe you devote 1 or 2 days there and try to work on these weak areas. Muskan is asking, I flunked twice, and that's because of anxiousness and stress, and I end up panicking during exams. See, Muskan, usually, I take my one-to-one mentoring sessions wherein I work with students from 1 month to 3 months for this, right? But at this stage, when you're just 10 days from the exam, what I can tell you is, you can spend some time every day meditating, just if nothing, just closing your eyes and focusing on your breath for 10 to 15 minutes, right? And all these techniques which I told you, the spinal breathing, deep breathing, box breathing, you can try it out. It will help you work on your anxiety levels. In FMSM, we should start with FM or SMC. Once you analyze the paper, you try to understand that where is it that you're very sure of scoring, either of the two, whichever is easier for you, you finish it and then you move on to the difficult part. Bhakti is asking, I'm not done with taxation for group 1. So should I attempt group 1 in this attempt or give both the groups in Jan? So Bhakti, if you feel that at least the other 2 papers you're very confident with and you think you can score exemptions, so please give group 1. At least it will make your life easier next time, right? So if you feel that the other 2 papers I've done really well, tax I've not touched, it's okay. So you can just go and attempt, but rest of it, at least you can try for an exemption so that life is easier next time and you have to give lesser papers. He is asking how to improve paper presentation. The last session which I conducted was completely on that. So please go to CAtestseries YouTube channel, you will get it, right? Devadarshini is saying that she's getting she wants to focus, but she's getting distracted and it reduces her motivation. So as I told you, Devadarshini, one very good technique is, one, having a goal for the entire day. Second, ensuring that you are studying, taking a break, studying again. So when you're very distracted, study 40 minutes, take a break, again study for 40 minutes, right? Bhavesh is asking whether this session is available on YouTube. Yes, it will be, but I don't know when exactly it will get uploaded, but I think after some point of time it will get uploaded, maybe 1-2 days. You will have to wait for that, Bhavesh. Khanak, if you want specific tips for any subject, you can connect with CA Test Series because they have subject-wise experts. They will help you better in this, right? So you can directly ask them. Vishal is saying, ma'am, I will give group 2 in September attempt. I have completed all my syllabus. I give both attempt in May 24. So how should I revise my whole syllabus in 15 days? So if you have 3 subjects, what you can do is, Vishal, maybe divide 3, 3, 4 days per subject, revise once and write one paper, right? And at least one more paper you write in the exam style. So 1.5 days, you set your strategy and you decide how do you go about. So one set of papers, maybe you give 2 to 3 days and write a paper. One alternate days you write a paper, right? And obviously last 3 days you keep exclusively for the first paper. Patel is asking how to control overthinking about exam. So you see, you need to understand what the outcome is in nobody's hands. What you have in your hands is today, right? So every day, if you make it count 1st September to the last day of the paper, then there are the best chances of you clearing, right? So ensure you have a target set for each day so that you don't spend your time in procrastination and overthinking, right? Okay. Madhumita is again asking about exam anxiety. So as I told you, that exam anxiety is something I really need to work with you for a long period of time if it's an issue. But at this stage, these small tips will also help you. So please try deep breathing, spinal breathing, and every day maybe meditating for 10 minutes. You can do some guided meditation that is also available. There are so many guided mindfulness meditations. You can try doing it every day. And in your exam center also doing deep breathing and spinal breathing. Okay, I think I answered all your questions. Did I miss any? Okay, I think I've answered all. Anybody, any other question you all want me to answer? Can you quickly type? Divya, you're welcome. I'm so glad you found this session amazing and productive. Okay, great. Jayashri is asking what is the best time to start mock test for Jan 25. So ideally from 2 months from the before the exam, right? You should be working on your revision and paper writing, and at least so as what I'm saying is, so by October end you should ideally finish your concepts and move on to revisions and paper writing. Ideally, right? Welcome, Mehek. I'm so glad you found the session amazing. Welcome, Anushka. Okay. Advika, for as I told you, you have to connect with CA Test Series for subject-wise specific doubts, right? Okay, I'm so glad that all of you all found this session insightful, right? And Parth, you're always welcome. Anushka, if you have not written any mock in these till now, then you should write in these 10 days so that you know how you are going to plan your exams, right? Okay, one more question. Bhavesh is asking, see, CA Test Series, if you have already written the paper, what you can do is you can simply go through this attempt's RTP, MTP. I'm not asking you to solve, just glance through it. Anything, any particular thing you feel is different, you can highlight and mark it, and you can just go through it during exams. So don't solve at this stage if you already written one mock test, because at this stage, you going and solving every RTP, MTP will be a little difficult. Welcome, Pavan. I'm so glad you found the session insightful. I'm so glad. Ayush is asking, will we have such sessions for November? Yes, hopefully we are going to have. Indi is asking, how do I attempt for chapter-wise test series? You have to, you can just type it in their chat box. They will respond. You just go to the CA Test Series website or app and you can directly purchase. Avish is asking how many past attempt papers can I go through? So you can attempt go through maybe 4 papers now, right? 4 to 5, not more than that, right? Okay, I think I've answered all the questions. So what I want to tell you all when I'm ending this is, please take care of your health, or spend some time for your meditation and some time exercising. And now at this point of time, your trust and faith in yourself is very important. So trust that whatever you've studied, you will be able to remember. Have a strategy for these 10 days and ensure you have a goal and a target. And again, I'm repeating, exam days strategy is very crucial. So if you've not done that, ensure that in these 10 days, you know that what all I have to go through, your markings are also ready, right? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. And all the best and take care. Bye bye. Bye, everyone.